Blessed Mhlanga, one of Zimbabwe's most principled journalists, has been tossed into police cells tonight because apparently in Mnangagwa's Banana Republic, telling the truth is now a criminal offense. His so-called crime? Daring to host an interview on HSTV News with war veteran Blessed Geza. That's it. No weapons, no coup plotting, just an interview. But of course, in a country where the regime fears words more than actual criminals, the police had to swoop in and save the nation from journalism. Mhlanga was charged with transmission of a data message inciting violence or damage to property. Sounds serious, right? But let's be real. This is just ZANU-PF's favorite new trick, slapping nonsense charges on anyone who dares to question their rule. It's their way of reminding journalists that reporting the truth is only allowed if it makes the government look good. And just when you think this regime couldn't sink any lower, here's the kicker. Mhlanga was in hospital when the police first announced his arrest. A sick journalist being hounded by the state for doing his job. He even informed them that he would turn himself in when he was feeling better, because unlike the actual criminals running the show, he's not on the run. And today, like clockwork, they threw him behind bars. Let's talk about priorities for a second. Zimbabwe's economy is in a free fall. Corruption is rampant, and the people are angrier than ever. But what are the police busy doing? Locking up journalists, not arresting looters, not investigating state-sponsored violence, not fighting actual crime. No, sir, no. Their biggest concern is a man with a microphone. It would be laughable if it weren't so tragic. This government has perfected the art of misdirected energy. While real criminals roam freely, government officials sit comfortably in their stolen wealth, and politically connected thugs act with impunity. The police are obsessed with journalists. And why? Because Mhlanga dared to broadcast an interview that wasn't a scripted praise-singing session for the regime. This isn't law enforcement. It's intimidation. It's an old trick borrowed from every dictatorship's book. Criminalize journalism, silence dissent, make an example of anyone who refused to bow. The idea is to send a chilling message to the entire media fraternity. Report what we approve or risk arrest. And let's be honest, this isn't just about Mhlanga. It's about every journalist, every news outlet, and every Zimbabwean who still believes in the right to free speech. If they can arrest him today for simply presenting a news interview, who is next? Your favorite reporter? Your favorite podcaster? Maybe even that WhatsApp group admin who shares news updates the government doesn't like. What happened to free speech? What happened to press freedom? Oh, that's right. Those were tossed into some dungeon where this government keeps democracy, accountability, and common sense. The message is clear. If you report the truth, you are a target. If you expose government failures, you are an enemy. If you don't sing praises for the regime, you'd better start practicing prison yoga. But let's not pretend this is some shocking new law. Mnangagwa's regime has a long history of harassing, detaining, and brutalizing journalists. Just ask Hopewell Chingono, or Job Sikala, or any of the countless reporters who have been threatened, arrested, or beaten simply for telling Zimbabweans what's really happening in their own country. Ask Bishop Nyamakanga. The government is allergic to accountability, and its knee-jerk response to criticism is always the same: arrest, intimidate, silence. But here's what they don't seem to understand. No amount of arrest will stop the truth. No amount of intimidation will make Zimbabweans forget how this country has been looted into the ground. And no, Mhlanga, locking up journalists won't make your government look any better. It just confirms what we already knew. You are terrified of an informed nation. For every journalist they lock up, 10 more will rise. For every media house they intimidate, more platforms will emerge. The days of controlling the narrative with state media propaganda are long gone. Zimbabweans are wide awake, and no amount of police harassment will put them back to sleep. If this government had any confidence in itself, it wouldn't need to arrest journalists for simply doing their job. But when you run a country through lies, theft, and oppression, the truth becomes your biggest enemy. And that's why they fear Mhlanga. Not because he's a threat to a national security, but because he's a threat to the false reality they have been trying to sell. If you're tired of watching these clowns attack free speech, then subscribe to Zimwaves TV, because we'll keep exposing their nonsense no matter how many journalists they throw in jail.
Geza kupinda mumugwagwa varwive hondo imi magandanga vechidiki naivo vatana mawindi memavenda varairi dzine masoja tese tatomira negumbo rimwe kuti timanye koimi muchadaidzira rini kana kuwedza bhuru wayo kana kumbungo pashurugwi vechidiki naivo vatana mawindi memavenda varairi dzine masoja tese tatomira negumbo rimwe kuti timanye koimi muchadaidzira rini muzvikoro nanachiremba muzvitoro tayasipora vechidiki naivo vatana mawindi memavenda varairi dzine masoja tese tatomira negumbo rimwe kuti timanye koimi muchadaidzira rini.
We will mobilize ourselves to deliver the final blow to a dictatorship that lacks any wisdom or empathy. We are now ready to deliver the final push, a push that needs all of us to face the odds and build a new country. We are going to give you a clearer signal soon. It will come before 2300 hours tonight, so that we end this 2030 business.
kupinda mumugwagwa varwive hondo imi magandanga vechidiki naivo vatana mawindi memavenda varairi dzine masoja tese